Okay, so technical seminar is being introduced in the MTech curriculum from very long time. So technical seminar is for the students to present the latest research findings which is happening over globe. The seminar can be an abstract and a representation presentation from a research paper in the latest trends, which can be from IEEE transaction, ACM transactions, or IEEE magazines and very popular Scopus indexed magazines and journals, right? And it should be a research item which has been in the latest trends, right? Now, how do you find out whether a research item is in the latest trends? The first and the foremost thing that you're supposed to do is there is a Gartner's index, right? Now, this particular Gartner's index will talk about what is the top 10 trends which is there in computer science for 2020, right? And based on this particular Gartner's index, you should choose the domain on which you are trying to basically work with, right? So the domain of your study will be on these top trends, which has been indicated by Gartner's index. Now, Gartner's index is globally being followed as a indicator for research work, right? For a very long time. And you can see that there are so many trends which are related to Gartner's index. If you just go and type Gartner in the Gartner's index in the Google, right, you will be able to get a lot of outputs for this, right? And you can see what are the trends which are there in um, Gartner's index for this particular year. So I'm just trying to open that particular link which talks about the Gartner's research aspect. Um, the trends which talks about what are the top performance research which is happening and the areas which are happening in different aspects of industry today. So let me just, the link is still opening. Okay, let me just share my screen to all of you so that you will also be able to see it. Um, is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. You may see that if you go to Gartner's Information Technology Research Index, right, at this particular URL, right, I hope the URL is visible to you. I will also copy this URL and put it in the chat box, right, so that you can see this particular URL at the later time, right? You can see that these are the top trends which are there in industry across multiple verticals, right? So you may see that the infrastructure operation cloud management is one such thing, cloud and edge infrastructure is another one, remote work mid-size enterprises is another trends which are happening, right? If I take the emerging technology roadmaps for large enterprise, right, it shows me about Okay, it shows me the roadmap between 2019 to 2021. What are the different trends which are there in large enterprises, right? What are the emerging technologies which are there in large enterprises, right? So that is the way you basically search a particular topic, right? So even from their website homepage, also you can see a lot of new details about what are the latest trends which are happening, right, and things like that. Gartner also comes with its own magazine. You can also subscribe for that newsletters and magazines, uh, which um, which will give you a highlight on what are the trends which are there in the industry today, right? And you can also register for webinars, right? You can see here that there are a huge list of webinars which are there, right? You can register for such webinars, right? So under these are the domain verticals which are there, which are registered under Gartner's index, starting from finance, human resource, industry, information technology, innovation and strategy, legal and compliance, marketing and communication, procurement and operations, risk and audit, sales and service, and supply chain. So under the information technology, you can see that there are articles which are there with respect to the latest happening, which is happening in the globe, right? And you can also look into what are the latest trends which are happening in that particular domain, right? Now, if you see the list of webinars, there are a lot of webinars which the um, Gartner basically provides. You can join to any one of these webinars, right? The only problem is it is being published in IST, right? International Standard Time. So you may have to sync your clocks with respect to that particular time and listen to it, right? So that is about the Gartner's index, right? After you have found a particular topic in the Gartner's index, right? Then the next thing what you can do is you are supposed to search certain topics which are with respect to that particular area. Now, how do you do the topic search for this, right? So the topic search for this, you either search it in Google or you search it in the research libraries like IEEE Digital Explorer or ACM Digital Explorer and Digital Library, and try to find the connecting articles which are with respect to that particular domain, right? So now, before I go with the searching part of it, I would like to formally present this particular session, right, as the technical seminar guideline session, which will help you and equip you to find out your topics and finish off with the selection of your topics, get the approval from your guides and send a copy to me by the by 26th of April. So next 10 days, this is the time that you have got. So I would like to put out certain guidelines and measures which will help you to do these aspects. Right. Now, when you talk about a flow for a technical seminar, the technical seminar has a flow like selection of topic or the area. Now, this is the first point that we did, right? We went to the Gartner's index. We tried finding out what are the recent research trends, what are the index that the Gartner's index basically tries to talk about. And based on that, we are trying to isolate a particular area or a particular topic, right? And then we are trying to search the papers with respect to that particular area or topic in a refereed internationally recognized journals and magazines and papers, research papers, right? So you can do that particular search, and after you have found a couple of papers, right, please sort them down in terms of the descending order of their dates, right, with first one being the most recent and the last one being the least recent. So my suggestion would to you would be, when you download a few papers, right, prioritize them according to their dates and shortlist some five papers, right, five papers which are in the trending topics of your domain what you have selected. If you have selected artificial intelligence as your domain, you choose five papers which are a top trends in that particular area, right? So if you have chosen computer networks or network security as your area, you find out the top five papers which are there in that particular area. Now, based on that, the descending order of whatever the paper that you have shortlisted, you communicate these papers with the titles and the dates, mentioning it in the mail to your guides, right? And after this is being done, the guides may pick up one of the paper which is most suitably good in the in that particular area, because your guides are the subject matter experts in that particular domain, right? So after you have done that particular selection, um, get the approval from the concerned guide as a reply, and after you get the reply, um, this is supposed to be done on or before 25th of April, and after your guide has approved that particular topic, you may send that particular paper and the mail thread of your communication to the PG coordinator, right? So this is the second step after you do the approval of the selected topic. Now, once when you have selected a particular topic and a paper, the second part of the story begins now, right? This is a place where you are trying to do the study of the topic, right? So this is a place where you are trying to acquire in-depth knowledge of that particular paper that you have chosen by exploring the references which are there associated with that particular paper, which broadens your study of that particular paper, whatever that you are trying to study, right? Typically, there are references which are included at the end of the paper. You explore all of these references, try to understand or widen your horizon about that particular topic, what you are trying to study, right? So next, after you're done and you're able to get enough amount of knowledge about that particular domain, you do a preparation of the presentation, right? So you prepare the presentation in MS Word point, right? In such a way that the time slot that is allowed for you to do the presentation is 20 minutes and 5 minutes for the discussion. So the number of slides may be somewhere around 20 to 25, and you adhere to somewhere 25 minutes timeline for your technical seminar, right? Now, once when your presentation is ready, you send the draft copy of this seminar report and the presentation to your guides, right? And once when your presentation is completed, after your presentation is completed with your guide, right, then you send that presentation as well as the final report to your approved copy of your report as well as the PPT, right, to the PG coordinator for record purposes, right? So this is the flow of technical seminar that you're supposed to maintain, right? The presentation of technical seminars may be scheduled sometime in the month of May or in the June. I will let you know about that. Okay. Now, how should your slides be organized? Right. Now, the slides must have the title, the name of the author who is presenting it, the roll number, the class, whatever it is, if possible, the logo of the institution. So these are some things which will make the presentation always more readable, right? The second slide should be an overview of what you are trying to discuss in that particular seminar. So the successive pages of that particular seminar, of that particular presentation, will contain objective of that particular paper, the introduction in brisk points, body of the paper that talks about methodology, graphs, block diagrams, logical sequences, and so on, the results and discussion that the paper has made. It is not your results and discussions. Please make sure that whenever you extract the graphs and other things from the original paper, you put a courtesy note for it, right? We are under the Washington Accord from 2014 and Accord. We must honor the contribution of the original author by mentioning a courtesy note if the material is not your original material, right? And then you have to conclude your seminar talk of what you have learned in this particular seminar talk and what you are effectively presented in that particular session, followed by a last page which contains about your references and bibliography. So the references must be presented in an IEEE format, which may be given as annexure 2, but usually we give it as selected references in the slide, and you can basically include that in the last slide of your presentation. So PPT guidelines, each slide must consist of 4 to 5 lines with enough spacing in between. Do not paste paragraphs together into the slide and make it so awkward or densely populated in the slide so that nobody can see anything in your slide. Right? Make brisk points. Understand what is the point that is being presented and effectively present that in your presentation. Right? And all equations, whatever that is being used in that particular paper, must be typed using the equation editor. No copying business, right? Don't take a snapshot of it or a photo of it and then copy that into the slide. Better is you use the equation editor which is available in MS Office, Word, as well as MS PowerPoint as well. Do that. And every slide must have the title. Each figure must have the caption. Each slide must have the slide numbers, short title of it, right, and the date of doing the presentation. These are very important aspects of your technical seminar, right? So now after you have completed this, right, the last point of it is the abstract, right? See, please remember that you are not copying the abstract of the paper what is being presented, right? Let me remind you again and again about it. That is not the abstract. The abstract is of your technical seminar, right? Whatever is the work that you are trying to present, right? And what is the abstract of the work that you have prepared, right? The abstract is essentially like a movie trailer, right? Whatever the movie talks about it, it's a trailer version of it. So the abstract will talk about the coverage of topics that you have included, right? Valuable resources leading to references, right? The market value of that particular that particular domain that you have chosen or the topic that you have chosen, right? So hypothesis of that particular topic, major scientific research findings, brief conclusion, right? Very important that the abstract must be limited to 500 words, excluding figure references and citations and tables, right? The abstract may contain the references to certain research article, but it is up to a limited extent, right? So the references, as indicated earlier, it should be in a standard for IEEE format only, right? And it should be submitted to your guides and get the approval before you do the presentation, right? Without the guide approval, do not do the presentation at all, right? So these are some of the guidelines that I wanted to share across to all the MTech students, right? Now, if you come back to your topic searching, right, you can go to IEEE Explore, put the topic whichever that you are trying to do. So let's say that I'm interested in autonomous vehicles, right? Most of you might have also connected to the recent IEEE webinar which happened on last Friday, right, where Professor William Lee discussed about his experiments and his research findings in the area of autonomous robots and AI, right? So you can use his presentations, right? You can use the ideas what he has presented and try to find out research papers in accordance with that, right? Let's say that I'm searching an autonomous vehicle, right? So there are so many such kind of papers that may be available. So it is still searching for results. So now when you get this, you get this particular panel first. Here you have to restrict to journals, magazines, right? Early access articles, and then plus apply for it. So after you press apply, there is a selection of years, right? In the left side panel of your IEEE digital library. Now what you're supposed to do here is you have to contract the window and make it as, let's say 2018, from 2018 to 2020. Then say apply again. So these are certain research settings that you're supposed to, search settings that you're supposed to do before you start with your article searching. Right now, what has happened? Whatever is the papers that is being that you are able to see after the search is being done is the latest papers which are in this particular year age, and it is under the journal, right, magazine or the early access article category, right? Now you can see that there are so many algorithms which are there. So you have to choose topics which correlate with computer science and engineering. For example, autonomous vehicles for auto driver algorithm and vehicle dynamics. Looking at the title, you get to know that this article is somewhere related to your domain. So click on that particular article. So likewise, so the abstract is given here. You can see, you can read the abstract, and then based on the abstract, you can select whether this paper can do or not. Likewise, you shortlist somewhere around 5 to 6 papers, right? On the descending order of the dates of publishing it, you shortlist these papers and send it across to your guide, right? So this is the way you can search. This is IEEE Explore. Similarly, in ACM Digital also you can explore in the same way. ACM Digital Library is the oldest library, right? So here also you can search for certain items, right? Let's say that I'm trying to talk about honey nets, something like this. So you can search latest results which are there in intrusion detection systems, right? Try to find out. You can also refine here based on the whatever is the search settings that you want, right? You can slide the dates and things like that. And you can search for latest papers in that particular domain. So it shows from 1/1/2018 to 31/12/2020. That is till the end of this particular year. What are the articles which are being published? So you can also check that there are citations which are with respect to this, right? This is one more metrics that you will have to keep in mind, right? A paper which has got high citation is a paper that you are supposed to look for. That is, more people would have referred to such kind of papers, and they would have extended their scientific study using that particular paper, right? So you should look at such kind of articles, and you should try deciding about it. Okay, so I will just come back to this place, right? Stop my screen sharing, right? I would like to keep the forum open for any kind of doubts and discussions. Please, if you have any doubts, make sure that you get it cleared right now.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, actually, sir, my guide is already decided the topic, sir, which I've sent it you.
you have sent me the topic.
Yes, sir, I have mailed also and in WhatsApp also I have sent it you, sir.
Probably I have not seen that. I will just check it. I am talking about the paper. Have you shortlisted the paper for it?
Yes, sir. Actually, I sent it some papers to Anil, sir. He selected
Huh.
any paper, sir, which is recent one of 2019 paper,
Huh.
and I've sent it you, sir.
Okay, if you have sent me, that means you can carry on with your further aspects of presentation, right? If the guide has approved it, I have nothing to do in between, right? So you can go ahead with the presentation, prepare well for
Okay,
it.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Anybody
sir.
else has other doubts? Have you communicated to your guides?
Yes, sir.
Have you got a reply from them?
She told I'll send you mail what topic you have to do on.
Okay, okay. What about others? I would like to hear from all the others. Could you please unmute yourself and talk to me?
Even I contacted sir. He told like send some four to five papers. I'll indicate and reply.
Same thing, whatever I have suggested today in my session.
Yes sir.
Your guide is Deepthi.
Doctor Tipesh Swami sir.
Oh, the Dean sir, is it? Okay, fine.
Yes sir.
What about Pujita? Pujita, you have not updated me any status. Okay, Varshini, tell me.
Sir, ma'am told to contact today for selecting the paper domain shift.
No,
Thank you,
Varshini, your
sir.
voice is not clear. Could you please be a bit louder?
Sir, ma'am told to contact today, sir.
Okay, if you're not able to talk properly, you can put a message here in the chat window.
Yeah, sir. She told she'll be in that whichever you are you can do that.
What about you, Tejasvi?
Sir, actually, Sunanda ma'am is my guide, sir. She told like she'll send me some two papers, and she'll ask me to see on that. Then she'll select one more in that. She told me, sir.
Okay, where Gautam is not connected to this particular call, I am the guide for MC.
Yes, sir. He didn't connect it.
Okay, I'll mark him as absent for the session. Okay. Okay,
Hello.
so is this process everything very clear about technical seminar? Are there any doubts about the process as well as other things?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, okay, fine then. So what I will do now is just give me 5 minutes of time.